Back to you, James.
That's not a limerick. Those are just words.
It's poetry.
Yeah, but the pistol round is here, and Heroic have made their way into a bomb site. No one's here for Sprout. This is full retake territory. Spiddy's got full grenades, so we'll see where those are thrown. Cressy goes up the ladder as the bomb is planted. And then this is by T-Red looking for a lurker, but I don't think there is going to be one. There's the HE into the site, and we've got 3 men on the road up top for Sprout as more grenades are deployed. Try to isolate some fights as they're going for that retake. Tess avoiding the flashbang, but he can't avoid the headshots from Spiddy. Look at the kill feed. It's all Heroic on the floor. Refresh now to 1 versus 4. Has got a smoke to go through as well. Holding the diffusers. Spiddy looks to body block as well. And there it is. The pistol round goes the way of Sprout with a bonus frag for Refresh towards the end or 2.
Well, they're very nice on the CT pistols at least, and that's good. And we know in the past, a long time ago, okay, Lex brought up in some of the recent games, their T-sides haven't looked good on this map, but I actually saw a Sprout T-side. There was one that made Reddit because it was like so well done, and they played the entire half. It was just so well orchestrated from beginning to end. So I'm kind of curious about their T-side coming up. I just wish it wasn't versus such a comfy map for Heroic, so we could actually see if they do have some kind of cool plan that'll come to fruition. But at least we get CT right now, and a strong start for Sprout right away. Good damage early, opening kill, even though they take some damage in response. And this is crazy. It's like Scout's knives outside. Everybody kind of just dry peeking with their scouts to try to take these duels. It ends up favoring Heroic at the end of this. And now there's an interesting mid-round where they're overstacked towards mid, looking to make sure that nobody's crossed yet. Meanwhile, Heroic have already changed the game plan completely and have made their way back to ramp. And the way that they move so deliberately on these big rotations, I think creates timings for them. Because Sprout are just, 1 step behind on guessing where they're thinking about. But wow, in this position, they've actually made the right call. Never mind. They're in a very good spot here on both sides of control. There's no utility to smoke out these positions, so there's not going to be an open plan except for, it looks like, decon, but they'll have to make that guess.
Lots of bombs on the floor. And there's plenty more issues for Storm as well.
Oh, that was a really great read.
34 seconds to try and clutch this one. Perhaps trying to collect a rifle. Indeed, he's got himself an AK-47. Cressy may have spotted him, I'm not sure. Looks like he has. Storm now 37 HP, 20 seconds. Could do some more damage here. 18 seconds to get a bomb plant, trying to invite somebody out. Saw one more in control. 13 now. Really got to keep an eye on this clock, and Falvin just opens the door, puts him out of his misery as Sprout make it to 2.
That was pretty cool. Okay, I thought Sprout were, really slow to this with how they were stuck around watching these outside cross angles and only had 3 players up after some of that scout damage went back and forth, but they made the smart move, got down lower quickly, and they really gambled on it. Had nobody watching upstairs, so very surprised that Heroic got caught off guard there, but how are they supposed to know that Sprout were so willing to gamble like that? Who wants to go up?
Oh, just spotted Slacks, but there's no massive surprise about that position. Just wants to catch him. There we go. Showing a little too much skin. Heroic, a conservative group.
Sun's out, James.
Punish the insolence. Well then. Very quiet, very...
Everything you say sounds like the name of a metal band.
Punish the insolence. Heroic really trying to punish Sprout for peeking, for seeking information. Cressy falling away. Good estimates on where to throw the HE grenade. And he'll hold control of Secret for now. Again, Heroic slowly edging forward. Just confident with these AK-47s, I think it's fair to say. And Cadian can't quite land the headshot there. That was an opportunity. Will not be missed on this occasion. Very arid climate in this round. Tessa spotted now on the outside. But how do they get inside and plant the bomb? That's the question here. 24 seconds with which to do it. There's an entry into A. and maybe there's a chance. One rifle on the 2 players, and they definitely need a pistoling player to really plant the bomb here, but they were collapsed upon by Sprout at just the right time. And it's a 3-0 for Sprout. So after a very difficult game of Vertigo, we're seeing a lot more from them early on here.
Yeah, not a lot of money here. So not a lot of money here to go off of for Heroic. Let's see what they invest into. Some deagles, some nades. Okay, these are some of my favorite rounds, James, because you have just enough utility to come up with one strat, but the round's not going to be complicated enough that you can do a lot. So what is the tactic that they want to try? Is there going to be a vent drop, actually? It looks like they're going for it. Did the bomb make its way down? No, that's on Cadian. Okay, so they've created a situation where they're trying to pull rotations downstairs by creating suspicion about this lower drop. And somehow Cadian makes his way into lower as well, right after Stout. This is a plant coming in. There's no one at ramp. The CT has not called the timing here. This is a huge mistake. 3 players have dropped through the vent. Why is no one talking to each other?
There's a lot of movement, a lot of sound cues as Tesses is lurking. It almost feels like they've got rifles. They've got so much information. Tesses coming in from the back. He's heard so many players heading towards the ramp. Look at the awkward angles. Heroic very expectant, but Sprout are the ones with the rifles. A lot of flashbangs as well, but look how far ticked that bomb is already. They've got to deal with all these players who are alive before they try and defuse this bomb. This is going to be a disaster. They're basically running to their doom, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. They're losing so many weapons. Slacks can't even touch the bomb.
Oh my god, what a disaster. That was not very good. Sprout there, at first, okay, there's a tactic to get down the vent. One guy getting down the vent on a timing, that's fine. There might be a bad CT spawn. You know, nade comes out late towards Squeaky. That's okay. And the bomb didn't actually get down. But then you respond to it. You get the ramp tide to drop and your upper guys say, oh, someone might have dropped, right? And then you get someone to rotate down. But even after that, I mean, Cadian just comes down like it's a clown car. Like 3 seconds later, just walks through into the vent. 3 seconds later, his friend comes with them. It's like the party's downstairs. And no CTs have rotated whatsoever. But more than that, no one seems to have even told the ramp guy someone might be downstairs, or told the outside guy that you need to go down secret just in case to watch the back of the vent. And they just get so much control, on top of the fact that no one's spraying them down on their way down the vent in the first place. So, way too big of a gap in the future. A lot of the meta for some teams is just abusing Squeaky as much as possible because it controls his fast rotation. If they let that open, I mean, the sky's the limit for the T side.
After the plants as well, just Heroic with full information, basically. That really was a suicide mission. And now we see all of Sprout upstairs and almost all of Heroic downstairs. Speedy now just wondering how the turntables launders.
I too like a Michael Scott reference.
It's a very appropriate place to do it.
Sbarro is my favorite New York slice.
This has quickly turned into a bizarre game of Nuke.
It's very strange. But this takes advantage of anybody who is like any bit uncomfortable on CT side. Because like, rotate. So the thing about Nuke, right, is if you rotate downstairs, it's easy. You come off the rafters, you go down the vents, you go to ramp or whatever, you go lower, it's easy. What's hard is coming back up. So when you come up the vent, that sucks, right? You don't want to have to come up secret. That feels dangerous. That feels where the T's were. So you never want to take that first step of coming off the rafters or going down the vent, because then it feels like you're a fool if they end up going upstairs again. And that's why teams might be slow to rotate. They don't want to get made to look like fools. But then you get in a situation like this where the bomb can go down downstairs. The CTs have no idea because the communication isn't quite there, and there's a gap. And the CTs are just going to be very, very slow to rotate. So they need to be much better simply about communicating what's open and being less shy about rotating in general. I'd say better to rotate fast twice in this kind of game than to not rotate at all. Unless they want to just keep hoping that Heroic are going to go upstairs.
Pop! And with that, we have a 4 versus 4. Cadian got blasted with the scout earlier on.
Pop.
Well, this will be a very interesting duel. Who will be more patient?
It's an AUG, but of course Refresh is going to win.
Oh boy, and there comes the cavalry. It's a stampede in towards the B bomb site once again. That leaves Farvan and Cressy with not much to do here. Maybe rescue a rifle or something. I mean, who knows? There's a small chance, a very small chance. But it looks like Heroic are in full control now. And of course, this is a weaker buy from Sprout. So once they get their money right, maybe they can put things back in their favor. But I don't know how confident I feel about that right now.
They got to get their money up, James. They're standing on their money, but they're looking short, James. They're looking like Maui.
I knew that was coming.
I haven't made one Maui short joke this whole event. I'm not even trying to make it a thing. It's not even going to be a thing.
No.
It's everyone else
It's
bringing it
low-hanging
up.
fruit.
Yeah.
It's low-hanging fruit.
I already feel bad about it. It's me who feels weird on the desk. You know?
Do you know what my problem with desks is?
Not them.
My problem with desks is me versus the desk. Because if you think about when people are standing at the desk normally, right, it's like waist height. For me, it's below waist height.
Yeah, you can see that
So
belt.
it's like my junk is just
Zipper
there.
and, yep.
Yeah, it's just there.
The blueberries.
It's like it's on the desk almost.
Yep.
You know?
And you got a lot to hide, James. So.
I'm better over here in the chair. Right then. More action towards the vent. SS delayed, but 2 players make it 3. They all get downstairs once again. There'll be a molly for their troubles as well. And it's a fast plant. Spitty can all but watch the flames at the ramp. All that wasted wine. Now Sprout will eventually make their way. It's a 5v5 retake of the B bomb site. And Dennis just creeping alone. The remainder of his team, though. I mean, normally if you're... Well, I mean, they're still like...
Say what's on your mind.
Okay, so it looks like if Dennis gets something done, we'll go for it. Because normally, like, if you're pushing an angle alone, you're going to wait for you to play off of your teammates. You're going to be a bit delayed. But yeah, that one... I don't feel like they ever tried to retake that. Dennis was just a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, that's tough.
Basically.
I mean, the game plan just gets smarter and smarter for Heroic. It's like they're just dressing it up differently. It's still ending B. They're just finding new ways to get there, and especially if they get kills on the way, then if you're a ramp guy, ramp guy gets 2 kills, you're probably winning that round. Your ramp guy gets 1 kill and stay alive, you're probably winning that round. If your ramp guy doesn't get a kill, you're probably losing. And if your ramp guy just gets downstairs, it's like close to 50-50. You know, it's a good amount of map control, but still anything can happen.
We've got 4 people outside now for Sprout, with 2 AWPs on deck. This is a very unorthodox play, but look at the response from Heroic. They seem to have figured something out because Farvan's having to run away from the ramp position, and now Hell's being compromised by Heroic. Still swings and misses.
Oh, that's such a good molly. They just needed that. Stico told me about this angle. Oh, you get the shadow advantage.
Yeah.
You can see everyone above you, and you can hear people jumping up, apparently. It does it all.
Why isn't Stico telling me about this stuff?
You watch the videos with that video I made with Stico. Then you can learn.
Where can I find this video, Launders?
YouTube.com/Launders.
Boom. There it is.
Ding the bell and everything. Will he get it?
I mean, if he does that just make it more likely that he's hunted afterwards? We shall see.
That's true. Yeah, maybe he just rang the alarm.
Yeah, he's got no choice at that point, I suppose. But yeah, there are problems with the structural integrity of Sprout's defenses right now. They went for a 4-man play outside. Maybe one of them was in main, but they didn't get anything from it at all.
Yeah, and the whole time it was ramp. It's actually kind of, again, perfect from Heroic. They probably get a bit lucky, the fact that they send one person outside to entertain the idea that outside's coming, and then all these guys they've got all their attention outside, like, oh, sweet, we're going to actually end the round here. And then the whole time it's just this huge ramp rush coming, like a giant tidal wave of players running through.
I can respect Sprout trying to take the fight to Heroic.
Yeah.
But it's not often you see 4 people outside.
Definitely not. Definitely not. There's a lot of ways to play it. You know, anywhere from 1 to 2 or 3 people. 4 is very, very rare. Yeah, it can work. It's one way, another way of solving this problem of maybe they feel uncomfortable with the early drop. But I think, yeah, I think they need to do some stuff like either, have 2 on the ramp, have someone get dropped into vent, and, play outside light maybe if they want to try that for once. Because Heroic really haven't done a ton of slow rounds wrapping to the back of heaven.
Look how close he is to the monitor.
I can't believe he's not more tanned, It's got the monitor.
Right?
Yeah. How close he is to the
monitor.
monitor.
He is extremely close to the monitor. That's tunnel vision right there. I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah. That's a Xantares peak closeness.
Yeah, we've got some closeness here as well, up top in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that sign says? Eat, sleep, guacamole. I think it says that.
Repeat.
Eat, sleep, guacamole.
Like if you designed a sign, that's what it would say. If you were a sign designer.
Heroic looking for their 6th round in a row. What is the score if Sprout don't win the pistol, I wonder?
Yeah, probably 8-0. Probably 8-0. Oh my god, that's a crazy drop flash right out of the smoke. Double entry upstairs, and yeah, this is, and then this is what conditioning is, that, as good as it's been for Heroic to go downstairs 5 rounds in a row, now if you get Sprout to worry about downstairs, then upstairs is suddenly going to be weaker, and you don't really have a choice. You have to respect that.
Yep.
So
that's one of the most powerful things you can have. It's your advantage is conditioning your opponent to fear one thing and then play against that fear.
That's really what momentum is. People try to say momentum. It's like, confidence, mentality. That kind of plays into it a bit, but it's really just about the fact that you don't have a choice. You've got to respect the fact that a team has won this many rounds in a row and they can get away with almost anything.
Yeah, it's setting expectations and then playing against them to your own advantage. This is merciless.
Indeed. No save guns.
Do you think that giving flowers to people is mean? Because you could interpret it as like
figuratively.
You could interpret it as, here, I want you to watch this thing die.
This is an incredibly existential question to bring up during a Counter-Strike match. I feel like people watch Counter-Strike to forget about this stuff, James.
Not when I'm commentating.
Not when you're commentating. No.
The grim reality of life is always upon us.
I think people would have saved a lot of flowers on Mother's Day if you had brought that up earlier,
Yeah, man.
We would have second-guessed that.
Get some sparkly cards, get the glitter bombs on the go.
Oof.
Well, there'll be more problems for Sprout as Heroic continue to change their approach. This time it's Cadian at Squeaky Door, but what's not changing is the favouring of the B bomb site and Speedy being here alone and then soon being deleted. So Heroic are just getting into strong positions and just punishing Sprout. Earlier on, like in the very early rounds when it was really slow, they were punishing them for peeking and getting information. Now they're just punishing every attempted rotation. And this is what I mean, man. I feel like I'm just watching flowers die round after round.
Okay. Right.
Just watching them wilt.
They're
turn brown.
Right.
They get thrown into the trash.
The John Deere's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sprouting up, but then the John Deere's coming through. The Danish John Deere, Heroic. I feel that. It's not getting any easier. And respect is earned, right? If a team is scrimmy against you, that's because they get away with it, you're just not good enough. You have to earn that back. If they're going to go for these, crazy, disrespectful, fast plays with, across the map, nobody in a position to trade, just ready to swing out on you, and you don't get those kills, it's your fault. You can't blame them for playing scrimmy. They've already given you some respect, played slow. Now they've earned the right to take the speed up a notch. So at this point, Sprout have to go back to ground zero and realize that Heroic are less and less scared of them. They understand how they want to play, and they feel like they can get away with a lot. Let's try to stop the aggressive rounds first, and then they can maybe think about fixing some of their old problems, which were, I think, downstairs. Or I imagine Heroic are probably going to go back to that at some point. But they can do no wrong. They've already just hit upstairs on a fast exec as well as ramp and outside.
Yeah, I think one of the largest problems here for Sprout is that Heroic seem to be at least 2 steps ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to mid-round, late round, they're just waiting for Sprout to walk into their crosshairs, essentially.
Yeah, the rotations are just they're just not good enough, not quick enough, and they're not willing to take the gambles. Not willing to take the gambles at all.
Well, there's a lot of utility for Sprout in this one, but not too many rifles. We see the scout onto Slacks outside. There is an M4A4 as well. And a jumble sail by of pistols. Cadian?
Whoa, yeah. It was as
maybe?
if he was just like waiting, you know, to hit the crazy shot. He's like, okay, just peek, I'll hit this flick.
There's nothing more frustrating than looking at the radar while you're sniping and then dying. Well, looks like it's a mix-up from Heroic. They've got all the strats and a tombola, and a different one has appeared.
What the fuck is a tombola?
So a tombola is like a wooden box which has a handle, and you can put items in it, like let's say balls, or like lottery balls or something. Spin them around. You spin the tombola around. It has a little door. You open a door, and you can select a winner of some description.
Like yeah, for bingo or lotto.
It's a very English, old school kind of crappy party item.
We do bingo in America.
Tombolas are super fun though. We could do a lot with a tombola, especially at Flashpoint.
Let's do it.
We could do a lot with a tombola.
Let's get some tombolas involved. Okay. What do Sprout? Okay, my opinion. I mean, I can't. It's hard to say what Heroic are going to do, and of course that's their power right now. But I would probably think about maybe slowing it down again to see if Sprout try to do something crazy, and then after that go back to lower, since that was such a good place to end rounds for Heroic. And for Sprout, I'd probably just hope they don't rush upper this round and think about making sure I get some, at least being able to call when they might be lower, so that the rotations can be better. Because I think that's really where the big problem was. So it looks like they're going to try to exploit lower again potentially. Just with the way they're set up at ramp and outside, but some smokes go down. They reassess maybe. Is Cadian preparing some skylight flashes? We've got one back, big garage, one ramp, two upstairs, back of the site. No one in front of Squeaky. You can tell Sprouter just shivering right now and very limited information. But this is a strong angle. Oh, man.
And it begins. 37 seconds on the clock in the 5 versus 4.
Oh, man.
Grenades deployed, but it's still
They
edgy push. Look at all the control they're taking.
Oh, God.
And the headshots as well.
They haven't even decided where they want to go yet. Oh, my God.
Oh, the timing as well.
Oh, this is just... Oh, my God.
Unnecessary, cruel, and unusual punishment at this point. 16 seconds to plant the bomb. Cressy wishes that bomb plant was on the other side. Well, hold on a second. He's in a 1 versus 2 all of a sudden. There is a flank coming, which should be very fruitful for Heroic. Never know about timing, though. Maybe checks for it, looking for it in the wrong direction, and Refresh will put him out of his misery. Tell me about this round, Launders.
Oh, that was ruthless. I mean, I really feel for Sprout there, especially I think Dennis with the AUG. I mean, this is just so smart on so many levels. I mean, the fact that Shush is not getting tunnel visioned here and covering a position like that while his teammate watches something else, that's one thing. But then the fact that this turns into a heaven wrap, and then the jump peak, and then the slow upper take with one out Squeaky. Squeaky's not being watched at all, and they just walk out, guess because Dennis is the one watching it from there. There's no way in. I mean, you got to win that first duel for sure, and then still there's so many ways for Heroic to win. Very, very scary right now, the way that round panned out. And that was a brand new look. It wasn't fast anymore. It wasn't towards lower.
Heroic showing great prowess across the map of Nuke. That was really enjoyable to watch.
Oh, man. That was so satisfying.
Yeah, and purely from my perspective, because it was so different to every other round we've seen from them. It was mean.
It was mean, yeah.
Mean mugging. Well, there's maybe a consolation frag for Speedy in this round, but let's see. They've got 4 players alive. Rounds have been won with less.
Cadian's deeked out right now. He's not even thinking about the fact that he has an op in the other hand. Everyone posted up on some powerful lines. Favin actually sees the blinking bomb in the back of lobby. They haven't picked that up. They left that kind of out in the open. But I think they blew up the door themselves as well. And And yeah, 2 CTs are there watching it. Tessus, he's running into the lobby. They push in fast, and here's a chance to actually close it out. Cadian finally gets that deagle kill. 2-on-3 situation, and they're here to suss the bomb back out. He jumps past, and it's actually kind of a bait whether or not Cressy knows it. Now 1v2 with Refresh. Doesn't get the kill. It's Cressy to hold. They come through that lobby crunch. Kind of interesting. It's that one piece of information about seeing the bomb there.
Yeah.
Just attracted all the CTs to get really close to explode.
That's the second buy round they've won. Well, second round they've won.
Yeah, they didn't invest.
It wasn't even a buy round. Yeah, it's just one of those rounds which gives you a chance.
The irony of winning rounds like that, obviously, where you're not winning anything else, but suddenly the round where you have nothing, it works. And in my opinion, that happens more because, number one, the pressure's off a bit, but also because you're more willing to gamble.
Yeah.
On like a 3-man push like that.
More variance.
Yeah, it's not standard. Oh.
HE. First HE would have been quite nice.
Yeah.
Second one misses the mark, but does it?
He got spam. He got spam
Yeah.
damage in. Fast downstairs. Look at the lower map. No rotations whatsoever. They're not calling timings here. Why is their outside guy not saying you guys need to be downstairs? Meanwhile, the T's are literally at the ramp from lower.
How many times have we seen that? Spiddy alone in B,
God,
just getting wrecked, essentially.
That's bad communication right there.
Yeah, he doesn't have the tools to hold the bomb site alone like that on the rafters versus the amount of players that Heroic always have down towards the B bomb site. But again, it's very easy for Heroic, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's really surprising for me because some of the squeaky timings they didn't know for sure, but here they knew for sure someone had gotten down. And maybe the only thing holding them back was not knowing how many people got down. So they don't want to say over-rotate, but yeah, clearly.
Yeah, their B's looking extremely vulnerable.
Mm.
And imagine anybody who plays Sprouts on Nuke will be looking to...
Yeah, go and B.
Yeah, they'll be looking for a similar approach. May not do it as strong as Heroic, though.
Look at the bravado on Refresh right now. He jump peeks this off. Is just free to do this,
Smurfing. Oh, no.
What?
No.
Oh, my God. It's like that.
Cadian special.
See, if we want to have some kind of insight into where, Heroic are at right now, mentally they're here.
I love this because it's psychological warfare.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's not the strongest buy in the world. It's psychological warfare.
Are they gonna... Oh, no, they canceled. I mean, they might have to play a real round now. It's a little bit scary.
Oh, okay. The plan B is here. Respect. I know Cadian, he loves the...
Sprout will never know about this.
He loves the P90s on Inferno as well. But that's a full 5-man P90 play. This one was just a 4.
Sprout will never know what was about to happen.
We need overtime now. Just to see. Oh, man.
Wow.
That was a tease. 1 minute on the clock. We've got Slacks in a very aggressive position towards T-Red. And oh, well, that's certainly a help. The bomb dropped as well. And again, this round is a help. Assuming it goes the way of Sprout now, which I think is reasonably likely. Refresh is still alive, though, so that's a problem. Dead now, of course. Well then, Storm in a 1 versus 4 made 3. With 37 seconds on the clock, elevating his position, expecting an angle to be held, and there we go. He's so smart.
Yeah, you could... Oh, he's got... Oh, the shadow's there. Dennis takes a nice off angle. 10-5 half.
Indeed it is. A very difficult half for Sprout, but they've got 5 rounds on the board. And that means there's a chance. There was a chance last game rather. It didn't go their way, but maybe it will on this occasion. We shall find out after the break.
Chance.
And we are back in black, back on the attack, as are Heroic. I'm sure they'll be attacking on the CT side. We saw a great pistol from Sprout to start off this map of Nuke, and I think they'll need both of them to really stand a chance here versus Heroic.
Yeah, I mean, the tail of the tape is that pistol round. The 2 anti-ecos actually converted, which was good, and then an eco and maybe 1 rifle round overall. But for the most part, Heroic, no sweat. 5 P90s in the last round, forfeited the rush. But just goes to show, how confident they were feeling that this game was pretty much over, despite the scoreline being even closer than it was last time.
Slacks has been made a raid bossy. Drops a P250. See if it has any part to play in this round. Oh, refresh raid boss as well. Well then.
Well. Things have gone crazy already. T's are coming back into Squeaky. Nature is healing. Shush holding a nice deep off angle into lobby. He's holding like a little low, I feel like purposefully, but it doesn't feel like low enough for the crouch peak. I don't know.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Nicely done from Dennis.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're too close to the angle of contention. Is that your, Brazilian butt lift's going to be sticking out. Well, you will see not much of anything.
For the broadcast, James said, "How does my butt look in these jeans?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "It's not a 10." I said, "If that's a 10, I've seen 15s."
I'm so disappointed in you, Lawrence. I'm so disappointed. If there was more time before we threw to the game, I was going to stand up and demand ratings from the desk. Okay. It'll have to come later. What will happen now, though, is a push into B and Refresh will have to dance around the B bomb site. Oh my God, they'll do more than that. The Julies will absolutely massacre. Talk to me, Launders.
I don't have nothing to say. That was amazing. I'm just here to watch. I just want to absorb it all. That's crazy. Amazing stuff. It's not something I would ever do. I can't pull it off. You give me 3 guns, I couldn't do that. So
twitchy African fibers.
Okay, but you said that about Cadian too.
Yeah, he's got twitchy African fibers as well.
Okay.
TAF.
He's tapping right now.
Well then, both teams win their respective CT pistols, but can Heroic win the consecutive round? Very deep smoke to start off with. Tesses will spread the wealth of the MP9, but no one's there to receive it. With rifles, those walls into lobby from the ramp are very sprayable, very wallbangable. You can harass from there. Sprouter taking some time to chill. And Heroic will be patient.
Dupree was talking about open up the rafters again. He wanted the whole,
bring it back.
Yeah, the entire thing open again.
Well, inside and outside?
Just inside, I think.
Well, I guess outside was cool.
Well, outside was oh my gosh. I don't think anyone liked outside.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Nuke has been, oh man. They've made some radical changes. Such a good map though. Very good.
I love the aesthetic.
Yeah, the aesthetic's really good too. Oh my God, what? That's so sweaty in a great way though. I applaud it. But the Glock double boost outside watching the big flank.
I don't know how I would feel about that if I was on the receiving end.
Yeah.
But in fairness, like if you're Heroic, they're playing so aggressively, you probably have respect, right?
Absolutely.
And
when are they going to do that next now, after seeing that?
Give them the single golf clap for that one. 32 seconds. A bomb plant is required, but that gap, well, that may favor Refresh. Cressy looking for some pre-fire. This is a long, drawn-out round. It's like they're trying to dry themselves some biltong in this round, and Sprat will be the biltong, it seems. The beef jerk-off.
Wait, what, sorry? Wait, what's a built? First of all, what's it built on?
Biltong is South African dried beef.
Okay.
If you're going on like hiking or something, it's great protein.
Oh, it's like some kind of jerky.
Really nice.
Did you say beef jerk off though?
I may have said that.
Okay.
Look, it's me.
Okay, so I'm smiling.
Frey is disgusted by biltong and such. Not a fan. But me,
I'll give it a shot.
I have a bag.
I'll try it.
A bag of the jerk off in my
Okay.
upstairs.
Wait. Interesting. Some squeaky pressure. It's paramount. Even if you're not going to use it, you have to scare the CTs here. It's just you have to do it. If the CTs aren't scared around Squeaky, you're not doing a good job on the T side. So we've got 3 players pressed up, ready to do something. But this is also, it seems to be more and more common. Just like chain re-smoking Squeaky early round. And, you know, potentially making it seem like you're taking outside control as a CT or you know something. But with no presence here from Sprout, I think they are a little bit nervous about this. There's another smoke left on Cadian. I don't know where he is at the moment. Sitting in... Okay, so they can't even re-smoke this. And it looks like the exec will just come. How will this go?
Hard executes, man. Into the bomb site they go. But where are the kills? There they are. Stereo frags for Sprout. But can they do more? Tez's trying to make an effort, but he's only good for 1. Best opportunities have come and gone for Heroic as Sprout look to mount a comeback on Nuke. One will be planted and Cadian will fish for something, but he's offered nothing.
I think that was the moment where sometimes you want to sit behind the smoke and be like, okay, just go after the smoke. Oh, they re-smoked? Okay, just go after the re-smoke. It's fine. But you get a little bit nervous. They might have pushed something. And I think for Heroic there, they thought, okay, we re-smoked this twice. If they're setting up for an exec, they'll probably think about doing something else because they're scared. They decide to go with the exec anyways, and Heroic haven't done anything special, actually. They've just waited with the 2 players upstairs. They're a little bit lower on utility, so, you know, full exec versus this bonus round, and it goes well. They get the entries. There's not too much resistance. And I think overall, just, you know, a nice call from Sprout to call that out, just to be like, all right, I don't think they've actually done anything. Because last round they actually were, you know, they sat on the double boost waiting for Cadian's big flank push. Maybe they didn't think that was going to happen again. So they said, hey, let's actually go forward with this, and it ends up being the right call.
So Sprout have made it. They've got their first round on this half, and they are half the score of Heroic. So there is much work for them to do. But if they can keep the CT side poor, then maybe there's a chance for them to do it. We can see that Shush pulls out the auto shotgun. Tesses has a deagle only, which is still a very capable weapon in his hands, as we saw on the previous map.
This is the Hiko, right? The top hut auto shoddy. Very strong. I mean, it's a moneymaker too.
Indeed it is. Of course, its last updates, the spread was improved. Tighter spread now of the shotgun shells.
Oof. As if we needed that. This thing was already tearing ass.
Next to my Boxer keycap upstairs on my keyboard, I have a shotgun shell keycap. I actually gave Fur a shotgun shell keycap previously because of his antics with the auto shotty back in the day. Holding a ramp on Mirage with an auto shotgun, because why not? Those were the days.
Are they... It doesn't feel like they're doing the exact same thing. They've got one person throwing some similar grenades, but I feel like this one's going to end up at ramp for some reason. Maybe not. But they don't have 3 people inside the Squeaky like they did. So let's see what happens this time around with 2 players pushed into hut.
Uh-oh. Well, that's a great start. The FAMAS has not been spotted just yet, and he's holding the back. The bomb drops into hut, and it is a massacre indeed. Sprout are on hooks in the abattoir. In they go one by one. 13 rounds for Heroic. Lots of upgrades to be had as well. 3 AK-47s taken into round number 20.
Yeah, nice pragmatic adjustment there. The hut is great because, you know, it's actually a house, right? There's no flashes that can pop over top of you when people are execing. People expect to get hut control for free when they're going out for the exec, so all the grenades are designed to blind and hurt spots on the site itself. So sitting inside of the hut sometimes right close to the exec is a great way to deal with it. Same with Mirage A ramp, like you were just talking about. Sometimes when the exec comes out, you just stand where the Ts want to come out of, and they can't throw too many nades there because they need to be there as well. But we're already off into the next round. Slacks gets an opening off shot on the T side, pushing, and that's down. Refresh is still close by with a teammate, and they have every incentive in the world to go for another kill. But Speedy is the one to best him. And now Cadian will try to make do. Almost gets 2, but at this point it's 2v4, and another trade comes down. Looks like another strong round from Sprout.
Hold on a second. 1 versus 2, full health Tesses. Got 295 HP on the server among the 3 players. So
Take man Twix by force.
Everybody healthy for now. Very impressively up the ladder there.
Will he drop? Will he stay up? He's in a very strong spot for this, but they're looking for him, I think. Oh, maybe not. He sees both. Almost got that coveted Tessa's spray.
Yeah, fakes the jump downstairs. And there's no fast rotation for Faven. He's in a spot of trouble, I think it's fair to say. Now, he would have heard that jump from Tessus, but I feel like
Ooh, he made noise.
the real jump, you would have heard that kind of pain noise, whatever
Sure.
you like to call it, right? So you may realize that lies are being told. With 25 seconds on the clock, the plant begins, and Tessus makes his way down the vents. That has certainly been heard by Favin, but Tessus has moved so fast that Favin can't have fallen back too far. Oh, but he's going upstairs. The rafters are sprayable, but Tessus, there's no way he's doing that first. He's probably assuming the ramp. But, oh, he's found his head! The aim punch through the top, and Favin will finish off the job. 7 rounds for Sprout. That was a crucial round to win.
Absolutely, very nicely played by Favin in the one-on-one situation. Even though it shouldn't come that close, he does a great job making Tessus' life really miserable there with the lower plant. So nice stuff. The refrags are great outside from Sprout, as Heroic have 3 CTs there, so they should have actually an advantage at least for the opening kill because of how unlikely it might be to have that kind of setup. But of course, they have that great T-side opping and awareness from all of them, and they put it together. Not so bad. Heroic's money is not fantastic. They actually afford to buy, but without almost any grenades whatsoever. This is actually very interesting. I don't know if they would do this versus most other teams. I guess because they can fortify behind the op, they have an excuse to buy. But that just has me wondering what's Cadian up to. They've got this ramp stack going on. They're overstaffed here and giving up outside. This was something that I was kind of hoping that Sprout would do once in a while. Take a kind of risk like this. We've got everyone going back outside to, I think, throw some cross smokes. But I don't think Heroic are in a position to rotate from where they are. So I'm not sure they're going to bite on this fake. Oh, and more kills are coming out in favor of Heroic in the middle of this default.
Yeah, the pain points are growing for Sprout. So quiet now. There's enough time to walk, but they'll need more than one kill when it comes down to it. Everybody for Heroic upstairs at present.
They're going to take over lobby from ramp now, and then Cadian can turn his attention to downstairs or just watch the big flank outside. Nice fluid rotation once again. They're going to hear a molly down lower as well.
Well, there's the pop from Storm, and that's the bomb spotted in the vent. So that's all the information they need before the bomb's even planted. How fast can they get downstairs? 2 players from the ramp, and I don't know if Crest is going to be able to plant this bomb, and indeed he won't. Running out of time, running out of personnel, running out of position, just running out our Sprout.
I really wish that would have been around. They got 5v5 before we saw where the site was going to be, going to. But in the middle of that default, Heroic were just getting enough information. Ston got this kill outside on the outside of Mini, and look how fast his rotations are. So nice. And I love how they took over ramp. At about the 30-second mark, when there's no pressure from Sprout, they're like, all right, listen, we got 5 players. We have a double setup on ramp. No one's coming here. We have lobby hut control. We just killed one guy outside on the cross. We can definitely push into lobby and get some info. And they do that to get that extra kill, and there's just no chance. Heroic they just push just enough. They get enough information. They're just quick enough to the jump to make sure that Sprout really have no room to make Heroic guess. They're always making very informed decisions.
Execute into the A-bomb site. So far, Heroic will prevail with bombs on the floor, and so are Sprout. Refresh with 3, shutting that hut down. Cool headshots from Heroic.
He's becoming one of the best upper rankers at the moment. There's been a lot of parity at the top with the upper rankers. RPK going out for Kyojin, and some very, very famous names that have played spots like these. But right now at the top, here's Refresh setting up lots of clips from these positions.
Telling you, man, we're going to be talking about him a lot.
Yeah.
But how much talking is there left for Sprout in match point for Heroic, and there are many match points for them. Pistols for Sprout. Shooting gallery perhaps for Cadian. Smoke's being deployed, and maybe the carnage outside will slow down somewhat. Not much damage done just yet, but it's just around the corner. Oh, we've got the rifle support for the AWP now. Cadian Lands a very nice shot there, and they just want to finish this right now. Charging through, Tesses will go for the last one and land it. 16-7. That was a lopsided affair from Heroic. Sprout were simply outclassed in this series.
Yeah, it was one of those games where almost every kill felt like a headshot, really, for Heroic. There wasn't much room for Sprout to breathe. And I mean, more than that, Heroic were just a better team on both maps, I want to say. You know, strategically they were there, tactically, the mid-round rotations, everything was just a really smart move from Heroic, whereas I felt myself being much more critical about some of the moves and decisions that Sprout made. So I think they have a lot of work to do, and unfortunately, they just didn't have a really great veto to go anywhere specific.
I think one of the good things is that Sprouts are they played one of the teams who I think will give them the least breathing room, which means they'll get punished the most, which I think is just great in terms of demo watching and so on. Absolutely savaged by Heroic, and we can see that they have come into this in excellent form. And it's just a shame that we didn't get to see those P90s, but maybe that will be saved for another day. That's enough from us. Over to Freya on the desk.
Any room to move in terms of the veto coming into this, and Heroic just went from strength to strength on Sprout's pick, then going on to their home ground of Nuke. What we expected, Lex.
Yeah, not really a whole lot of surprises in either map. And for Heroic, really took no time at all to exploit all the weaknesses on the CT side for Sprout, and from disjointed rotations to maybe lack of communication and maybe even confidence in their moves. This isn't exactly a map that I would consider strong for Sprout in any capacity whatsoever, and certainly this is Heroic's home map as described, so not entirely sold on the idea that, there's everything and nothing in this demo that you can go back and watch and improve on. But, despite that, I think James actually touched on it, where both of these maps do kind of allow Sprout to go back, check out what was going wrong, and perhaps even realize what Heroic was doing right. I mean, you experienced it firsthand, and maybe it'll pay off down the line.
And that's something that you were highlighting, Semler, coming into this. Is, you read an interview with Sprout coming into this game, and it was saying just having the opportunity to be playing some of these teams of this caliber, it's a learning experience for them. We weren't expecting them to come in and blow Heroic out of the water.
No, it certainly wasn't. I mean, we were expecting Heroic to do the blowing up. Really, pyrotechnics and whatnot. Tessus, topping the scoreboard here for Heroic. But really, the main thing here is that Heroic have that winning quality that you have in dominant teams, which is that when they get into the server, they know that they're the team that's going to win no matter what. And so even if the score gets close, or like Sprout are up to 14 or 15 rounds, I'm still just saying, well, the Heroic are just going to bring it back. Because they're going to have that invincible confidence going up against a team like Sprout. And again, just to say, Heroic are not a team that underestimates any of their opponents. They always go into the match, they make it very clear in all the pre-match interviews and post-match interviews, and then they back those words up. They say, we take them seriously, we do our homework, we're not underestimating them, and we're going to smash them. And that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, and we can see it exactly playing out in this first matchup, which means Heroic will be moving on in that upper bracket. And something that we were kind of hoping, potentially, Lex, coming into this, seeing a little bit more of Dennis and Speedy as some of the more long-lasting names on the side of Sprout, but just didn't really have any room to move, and is what we expect from Heroic.
Yeah, and even the star players for Sprout, I don't necessarily think had an opportunity to really shine here. I mean, obviously, if you're up against Heroic, it's really tough to kind of break out individually, especially when the teamwork elements are breaking down in such a way. But, it really can't be understated by us here on the desk and anybody else who's at home watching that, Sprout, nobody expected them to come in here and 2-0 Heroic by any means. And considering, you're down in the lower bracket now, you got to work on the next matchup, start focusing on, refining that map pool a little bit and kind of round yourselves out.
Yeah, and it is a good point. It is double elimination here at Flashpoint 3, so there will still be another chance for Sprout to be getting back into this. But we've got to break down some of these maps a little bit more, and I believe you have a particular round that you want to be talking about, Lex, round number 4. What are we going to be seeing here? Yeah,
I think this is kind of when the actual moment happened, when you could really see Heroic just exploiting some of the weaknesses in Sprout's defense, where, the standard Molotov towards vents, you expect, okay, maybe one player gets down, but I think Launders described it as a clown car through Squeaky down into lower, and there's 5 players alive from from Heroic and Sprout for that matter. But when this bomb gets planted at lower and there's no rotations, it's all disjointed, and if you're Sprout in this scenario, I can't imagine the mentality where everything is just broken down and there's no protocol, there's no plan for this retake, and you just see Tess is just stalking his prey back here towards ramp.
Yeah, and I think that's something that was a struggle. It's just, we were seeing from Sprout throughout this entire map. Sure, had a good start getting those 3 rounds initially, but it just seemed like they didn't really have any room to move. Do you feel like we saw similar issues as we saw on Vertigo for these guys, Summer?
Well, yes, and a lot of it just does boil down to firepower as well. And it's a point that we were making going into this match, how, I was kind of hoping that we would see an increase in performance from Dennis and Spitty going into this. Yes, they're old hands. Yes, they have a lot of experience, but they also need to be able to click heads. And some of the ridiculous peaks that Heroic just get away with because they're bold and they know that they have better aim. I mean, the number of times you see Refresh come around a corner and rip somebody's head off, it's actually bordering on the ridiculous. And so I think there's not only the experience angle here, but we did also see just kind of like the raw firepower angle, and Heroic just outgunned Sprout.
Yeah, we do have another round to be breaking down, guys. Round number 19, I believe you were highlighting here, Lex. So what are we seeing?
Auto shoddy round.
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about
$900.
how quickly Shush makes his money back with this auto shoddy investment. There's 900, about to count 1,800 more. And
It's so silly.
I mean, look at this. This is a decent attempt at an upper execute, but they don't even make it out of hut. And these players that are coming out of this week are just getting dominated by the aim of Tesses. It's a rough spot to be in.
I mean, that reminds me of JW of old, right? Just farming money in the hut. Shotguns, I think, what was it, Maui was telling me that Get Right used to do it too. I remember JW, I used to call him the Bank of Sweden because he'd literally just sit there and just make money with shotguns. And I guess that's the new meta now, or at least it's just, it's like fashion. It just goes in circles. It all eventually comes back. Bell bottoms, I'm seeing chicks wear those guys now. It's like 40 years later, and there you go. That's what happens.
I wish we got to see some P90 rounds as well from Heroic. I feel like that's what they do when it's true BM on the final round.
But they
Definitely
don't
a P90.
PM so much.
No, and I think that's the thing about Heroic.
man.
It's a respect for the opponents, and that's what we were kind of talking about.
I think it's just because they've got things to do. They're like, hey, we're the #1 team. We got to go and study Gambit here, actually. So you know what? We're just gonna smash you guys, and then we're gonna get back to work.
Well, they do have another thing to do, because we have got Cadian online for an interview after that win. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Congratulations on that, first of all. I do want to ask about Shush, because we saw him going lights out throughout this series, and we typically look at him as more of a supportive player. So I kind of want to ask you how you've been integrating him into the team, and why he was, enabled to be so dominant on these 2 maps.
Yeah, well, Shush joined the roster and he was like, do I just need to chill out and be a KD1 player or what? And I said, no, bro, be a fucking beast. And that's what he is. He's owning people. He's playing amazing. I'm not sure in terms of the slotting him in kind of thing, because he plays a lot of his roles and he plays them very well. And yeah, he's definitely putting up great numbers. So yeah, good times.
Any questions from you guys for Cadian?
I guess it would be, Cadian, you guys are a pretty dominant Nuke team. And we saw a few different looks on T side, at least, of you guys getting down into the vents. Is that something that maybe you looked at when you're playing against Sprout, weaknesses in their defense, something that you could exploit throughout? Because it was almost comical to watch at times, having most of the team going down the vent.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if we exploited the weaknesses. I think that was the entire map. Not to be rude, but we definitely just did our thing, which we have a lot of success with on Nuke, pressuring different parts of the map at the same time. And oftentimes the opponents are left with the choice of either fighting something really hard, which doesn't feel comfortable, or giving us the space. And you could see the rounds. We got the outside control, secret, under heaven. We pushed them away ramp. We played out squeaky rounds, like you said, down the vents. So we played a really good Nuke game. We saw that the protection for the vent drop was not super strong. So even though it's not something we do that much, we could see in the preparation that we could definitely win a round or 2. And I guess that round 3 we won, or round 4, whatever it was, definitely kickstarted the momentum.
Right on.
Yeah, solid. Cadian, good to see you, dude. Actually, I want to ask you real quick. You had a tweet earlier about the player break. What are your thoughts on that? Do you want to speak real quick on the stream about that cover a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great opportunity, honestly. Thank you, Simla. I mean, I guess in a way, it's the player's responsibility, and I guess it's a bit harsh to say, but maybe I don't feel like that the current union, CSPPA or whatever, is doing their job good enough, because we see all the players complaining year after year, and I know it's a difficult task and it's difficult to make moves with ESL, Blast, Flashpoint, and so on. But I think 2 weeks summer break, I might be feeling a little too comfortable, but I feel like that's not enough. I mean, it's a tournament break, but it's not a practice break. And obviously, when a thing like ESL Pro League starts, you don't want to show up without preparation, so you'll have to have 2 weeks of practice going into that. And yes, you can skip events, you can, and we already are, and other teams are as well. But if you want to be number one in the world, which is personally my goal, I want to be the mother effing best at what I do. You need to participate in as many tournaments as possible, at least the big ones, to gain the point, because otherwise the opponents are gaining points on you. And I think that's a major problem. So you have to look at how the rankings work. And also, I think just from the viewer perspective, seeing the same teams match up week after week is not healthy. Like you see it in other sports as well, the Champions League in football as well. The big games is when Real Madrid meets United once or twice a year. I'm not saying it should be saturated to that amount, because obviously we want more than that. But I think seeing the same matchups too often is also not good for Counter-Strike. And I think there's a lot of things we can do. I'm not saying that we as players are perfect at all, but I'm definitely ready to enter a dialogue with people to see how we can improve the scene for everyone.
I hope that happens, man. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Long discussion. It feels like it comes up every year. So I hope that you guys can make some progress on that front. Real quick, G2 or FaZe? Who do you want to play in the next round?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a good one, huh?
It is similar. I mean, I think G2 has been on the rise lately. They've found some more steady ground with Jax, but also I feel like FaZe hasn't unlocked their true potential yet. So in a way, it's a really political answer, but I think it depends on what kind of form they show up on the day. But it's been a while since I played G2, and we had really tight games in the beginning of the COVID online era. So yeah, maybe let's meet my boys Nexa and Hunter again.
Well, it'll be very exciting to see if that does play out, Cadian. Thank you so much for your time. Huge congratulations on that win again. Can't wait to see who you will be facing in the next round of competition, man.
Thank you, Freya. Thank you.
Always great to get to catch up with Cadian. And he brings up a good point, because